Two Saudi Arabian tankers have been destroyed in the Bab el-Mandab Strait. Let me repeat that. Two Saudi Arabian tankers have been destroyed in the Bab el-Mandab Strait. The Houthis in Yemen making good on their threat that if the United States struck Iran again, the Bab el-Mandab Strait would be closed down to Saudi Arabian tankers. And Yemen announced that it hit two Saudi tankers. We have video of that. I'll show you it in a moment. Also, in the Strait of Hormuz, Iran was able to strike yet another tanker there. And then three tankers that were trying to use the route that the United States is telling tankers to use, not the IRGC route. They turned around when they saw that Iran destroyed this other tanker. Earlier, Donald Trump announced yet another day of strikes against Iran. The Houthis in Yemen were ready. Iran was ready, and Iran struck back hard. There are currently strikes taking place in Kuwait and in other U.S. bases in the region. And of course, there was the incident I just described in the Bab el-Mandab Strait. We see the price of crude now at $95 a barrel. It shot up about $2 when we learned about those two Saudi tankers that were shot by the Houthis in Yemen. I believe, as I've been saying now for a long time, I probably sound like a broken record, we will be at $100 a barrel very soon. Here is the Yemeni Armed Forces spokesperson announcing the execution of this special operation. Two tankers, one named Meiselas, the other Laylia, were both struck by the Houthis. These were Saudi Arabian tankers. Let me show you video footage of what that looked like. Let's play it. This has been confirmed by multiple other sources. Also, the IRGC announced 3 oil tankers incited and lured by the United States were attempting to pass through a mine-laden route in the southern part of the Strait of Hormuz. After a severe explosion and fire on one of them, the other two quickly turned around and retreated. Here we see some smoke plumes rising near the Ali al-Salam base in Kuwait after Iran continues to pummel these U.S. bases, which are essentially defenseless as the U.S. has run out or has been running low on its interceptors. That's why we've been seeing the U.S. moving a lot of its equipment to Israel right now. They still have an Iron Dome there. The U.S. bases in the Arab nations where a lot of our troops on really don't have effective interceptors at this point. Iran's been able to also strike those early detection radar systems. More footage right here of the Ali al-Salam air base in Kuwait. You see the smoke there. Now, the United States airstrikes today apparently focused on a border crossing between Iraq and Iran, where there were numerous civilians. There are reports of casualties right now. We will continue to see what's going on there. Let me show you the scene as the United States struck a border crossing that had civilians, the Iraq and Iran border crossing. You see photos right here, but let's play this clip.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله ضربة والسلام.
Now, I'll share with you what's going on right now in Yemen, just to give you a sense of the dynamic in Yemen. A large part of Yemen, Sana'a, the capital, controlled by the Houthis. That's by the Bab el-Mandab Strait. The Houthis are aligned with Iran. The government of Yemen that's recognized, though, by the international community is not the Houthis. It is a Saudi-backed government right there. And so there's currently fighting breaking out right now between the Saudi-backed government and the Houthis. We have footage of that. You should also know, layer on top of that, that Pakistan entered into a defense alliance with Saudi Arabia recently, where Pakistan is obligated to defend Saudi Arabia from attacks. So one of the things that Pakistan was saying that it was offering Saudi Arabia was protection against the Houthis in Bab el-Mandab. So that didn't happen. So we'll follow what's going on there because this is becoming a massive regional war. And as the United States security umbrella fails, that's one of the reasons that Donald Trump, in my view, has now allowed Saudi Arabia to have access to nuclear material and nuclear enrichment, because that's the art of the deal. When your security umbrella fails and Saudi Arabia does quid pro quos with you got to pay him some way. Same thing with the United Arab Emirates, right? Security umbrella failing. Dubai, Abu Dhabi. What do they get? They get the semiconductor chips, the classified semiconductor chips that we would never otherwise give. And they're obviously going to give that to China. That's how weak and pathetic Donald Trump is. Let me show you these intense clashes going on right now between the Yemeni armed forces and the forces loyal to Saudi Arabia. Major fighting breaking out in Yemen right now. Let's play it. I've got more footage of that as well. Let's play it. Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal is reporting 150 medical personnel have arrived in recent days at the Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany. Why? Because there are a lot of casualties taking place that the Trump regime continues to cover up. The Wall Street Journal reports that in addition, the U.S. is surging forces, medics, and weaponry to the Middle East to give President Trump more muscular military options. That's what they're calling it. As he considers expanding the conflict against Iran in the past week, special operation forces have deployed to the region from their U.S. bases. Squadrons of jet fighters have been staged across the Middle East, and bomber aircraft at bases in the U.S. and U.K. are on high alert to ramp up operations. Additionally, more than 150 medics have arrived at the Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany in recent days. Another official said the hospital is the primary location for treating troops injured in combat in the Middle East. Now, Donald Trump gave a speech today in Georgia. He looked absolutely terrible. He looked like death. His face was red. He had 18 chins, screaming and ranting. He was saying, just so you remember what he was saying, we don't need Hormuz. We don't need the streets. We don't need the streets. Here, play the clip of what he was saying. Let's play it.
We don't need anything. We don't need the Hormuz Strait, but we do it because we have to do it, because we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple.
Now, he's obviously going through some things right now as Iran continues to grind him to the ground right now. What else are we learning? Politico's latest report. The White House is at a maximum level of frustration right now. And I was told by very senior people that the president is now fully aware that the only way to victory that he wants is completely politically impossible. The American people just will not support the kind of escalation it would take at this point, said one person close to the White House, granted anonymity to discuss private conversation. We've got more dead Americans and a politically impossible situation. Right now, in terms of the MAGA base, only 37% of the MAGA base now supports this war relative to the economic consequences that this war is causing. CENTCOM continues to behave like an absolute clown. Really embarrassing that this is what CENTCOM has become. With everything I've shared with you, this is what CENTCOM posted moments ago. Today, Iran's IRGC, Islamic Revolutionary Guard, claimed that it controls exits and entry to the Strait of Hormuz, suggesting that international mariners can only use routes the IRGC prefers. This is false. Fact, Iran does not control the Strait of Hormuz. The international waterway remains open for transit, regardless of IRGC threats and attacks. Commercial vessels continue to use the strait with U.S. military support. Since early May, American forces have helped more than 900 ships transit through the strait. I mean, while we see what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz with any tanker that tries to use the U.S. route getting obliterated and destroyed, the fact that CENTCOM is saying that's ridiculous. But even if you take CENTCOM at its word, okay, 900 ships since May, as Daniel Davis Deep Dive explains, 900 ships since May equals about 11 a day. That's less than 10% of the pre-war volume. Not exactly something you should be bragging about. And even that number includes ships that pass through the northern route approved by Iran. Nobody is fooled by this embarrassing attempt to put lipstick on a pig. The Strait of Hormuz remains under Iranian control. And that's just an objective damn fact. That's just the reality. Donald Trump was in Dover, Delaware, at the dignified transfer. He refused to bow his head, notably. Also, Donald Trump put words in the mouth of our fallen soldiers, service members, as even Justice Amash says, it's disgusting and shameful that the President of the United States to put words in the mouths of departed service members. Seriously, what a sick, vile piece of you-know-what he is. I mean, this is a scumbag and a vile piece of trash saying this about our service members. Let's not mince words. This ain't corporate news. Honestly, this is a piece of human trash right here, saying that our service members all said very strongly we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. Shut up. How dare you, you idiot. You freaking loser. Put these words in the mouths of service members. You lying loser piece of crap. Here, play this clip.
Some of you are going with us to honor our heroes, and they are indeed great heroes, actually. They said, and all of them said very strongly, we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. They won't have a nuclear weapon. So we're going to honor them.
Sorry, I just get so angry thinking about him lying about what our service members said. Seriously, what an ass. I mean, just what a horrible freaking human being this vile thing is in the White House. Also, Donald Trump said that the war with Iran is a skirmish. It's only a skirmish, and they're begging for a deal. This is what he said earlier. Let's play it.
And the stock market has said, and that's with this skirmish we have going on. I call it a skirmish. This is with this skirmish we have with the Islamic Republic of Iran, and I call it that because let me tell you, they're getting hit so hard, and they want to make a deal. But I say they're not ready to make a deal, because every time they make a deal, they want to change it and everything. They're not ready. They'll be ready very soon. And this is despite this. It's going on. The stock market has hit 73 all-time highs since the election. Think of that.
We'll keep you posted every step of the way, folks. By the way, make sure you pre-order a copy of WTF America. Hit the QR code at the end of this. It really helps if you do the pre-order right now. Hit subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Breaking news right now. My brothers and I wrote a book. It's called WTF America. And well, doesn't that just say it all? It comes out officially this October, but you can pre-order your copy today. Just scan the QR code or click the link in the description below.